Do you often find yourself with too much month left at the end of your money? You remember that saying, huh? Or maybe you are dipping into the emergency fund for more than just emergencies. Personal finance expert and speaker Chris Hogan is here with tips on how to get control of your finances. Chris, welcome to the show. Good to have you with us today.
Thank you.
All right, a lot going on right now, and there are many people who, again, as we talked about just a second ago, they get to the end of their money, and wait a minute, there's still another week or two left of the month. The key thing there is budgeting, right?
Yeah, it sure is. When you take the time to budget, what you're doing is you're understanding exactly what does it take to run our household. And so now you begin to tell money where to go instead of wondering where it went.
Okay, and that's the big thing, because people talk about the fact, well, I just don't have time to do this, I don't have time to do that, but if they really sat down and made that budget, there would be a huge difference, and they could really see where things are going, right?
It really can. And here's the deal. I tell people, you can't afford not to do this. So taking the time to budget. So if you're married, you want to sit down with your spouse, be in agreement, begin to talk about this is what we're going to spend on groceries, this is how much we're going to eat out. And what's amazing is people start to see, I've got more money than I thought I did, because you start to plug holes. You don't realize how much you're spending eating out or going to the fancy coffee shop.
Okay.
I want to make people aware so they can control it.
All right. Now, when they get to the end of the month and there's no money left, then some of them pull out the plastic. And that's a key issue right there. Talk about, number one, using credit cards themselves, but also for folks who have credit card debt. What's the best way to take control of that?
Well, I tell you this, credit cards are dangerous. The reason I tell you that is that people often spend 25 to 30% more when they use a credit card. So we're creating this issue. And Leland, I've got this for you. This is how I explain it to people.
Okay.
Interest that you pay is a penalty. Interest that you earn is a reward. So if you're paying interest, then you're being penalized, and credit card companies charge you interest.
Yes.
So you're not doing yourself a favor. So what I want them to do is take the time. Now, if you have credit card debt, we encourage people, list the debts out smallest to biggest.
Okay.
Let's take a look at exactly where you are, and then let's start to sell stuff. Let's start to take extra jobs, make extra money, and start to attack them smallest first. Get them out of your life. They're not your friend.
And then when you do that, you can set up an emergency fund, and talk about the importance of that.
Absolutely. Now, the first step we tell people is you've got to get a $1,000 emergency fund immediately.
Okay.
So you want to have a garage sale, you want to start to look at your budget, and when you have that $1,000 emergency fund, what happens is you don't use credit cards. You don't have to go out and get into debt because you've got it. If you've got a car emergency, you've got cash to pay for it. So that's step one.
Okay.
Get that $1,000. Step two is list the debt smallest to biggest and attack them. Get them out of your life.
All right, quickly, we want to save for an emergency fund, but we want to save beyond that for retirement.
Yes, retirement is a big deal. I tell people all the time, retirement is not an age, it's a financial number. So what you have to do is begin to sit down and look at where you are. What is the number you're going to need? What is it going to take for you to run your lifestyle when you get to retire?
Okay.
And I say get to retire because it's a privilege, but we've got to get people engaged in the process, understanding that that's not their friend. And if we can stop paying all the credit card companies, people can start paying their retirement.
Ooh, I like that. All right, great information. Thank you for being with us today. Now, for more information on how you can get in touch with Chris, go to newschannel5.com.